In this video, we will search, sort, and lazy load using Svelte and Sapper. So we will do it in two different ways, the frontend and the backend. Let me explain you the difference. If I inspect here and I go to the network tab, when I search, we can see that every time we search, we'll send another request to the backend. Also, if we sort, and also if we lazy load. So there are other requests to the backend. If we go to the frontend and inspect, when we search, so these are not requests to the backend, and sort and lazy load, we don't send any requests to the backend because we will filter them in the frontend. So if you want to know the difference between frontend and backend filtering, consider taking this tutorial. Before we start building the app, I would like to remind you that this video can be combined with other videos. So if you want to use Svelte with any of these backend frameworks using MySQL or MongoDB, I provided some links in the description of this video. If you don't want to use the backend, don't worry, I have a solution for you. Also, make sure to check scalablescripts.com. Now let's use the backend without actually building it. So if you already build the backend, you can skip this part. If you don't want to build a backend, then first download Docker and download the right version for your machine. Once you download Docker and installed it, you can use this repository. I will clone this repository and I will open my terminal and run git clone this repository. Now it is cloned. Let's go to the folder, and here I will run docker compose app -d, and this will pull all the images and it will build our backend. Now let's wait till this is completed. So everything is ready now. We created the images. Still, we need one last command, which is this command. I'll copy it, paste it here, and run it. And now our backend is running on port 8000. So go to localhost port 8000, and this is our backend running in Laravel. Now let's start building the app. So let's create the app. We will be using Sapper, and copy this line here, open the terminal, and we need to name our project. I will name it Svelte Search. So this will create our project. We can open it with our IDE. I'm using WebStorm here, but Visual Studio Code it is the same. npm install, because we don't have node modules here. So after npm is installed, we can run npm run dev. So our app is running on port 3000, and this is our Svelte with Zapper app. Now let's add a template. So go to getbootstrap.com, click get started, and we want to copy this link, and we need to add that link to the src template.html. Here I will add bootstrap. Also go to examples, and we need to copy the album HTML. So just a part of it, not all of the HTML, from this div, and we need to copy one product. So from here till here. So there is still some HTML that needs to be added. So I will remove everything here, and I will paste this HTML. So I need to close divs, And that's it for the moment. I'll remove the about page, the error, and the blog. And for the nav, I will keep it because we will add a nav later. So if I save this, it will look like this. So let's change also the nav because it is adding some styles. So we don't need the segment. And here, for the main here, I will move this div class container and I will add it to the layout here. So let's close the divs. And in the index, I can remove this last two and it will probably look better. So this looks fine. Also the menu. So let's go to getbootstrap.com. I'll switch that menu with first go to headers, and we have this second menu which I will inspect, and I will copy it directly from the inspect here. So I will copy this HTML, I will go to nav, and I will replace everything with this. So this will look like this. So this is better. Now let's add the links. So we need a frontend and a backend link. First, let's create also the components. So frontend and backend. So we added these components, and the first one will go href to frontend, and this will be frontend, and the second one will go to the backend, and this will be backend. So this is correct. Now we will switch from frontend to backend, but we want to add also the class that is moving, because we have to check the URL here to know which page we are at. To get the active route, we have to import stores from Sapper app. So we imported the stores, and we need to get here the page from the stores. Now with this we got the current page, and we can add here class active is equal to page path includes frontend. So with this we can add the active class once the path will include the frontend. Let's do the same for the backend here. And we can see that we are switching from frontend to backend. So that is working fine. Now let's cut this HTML, and I will paste it here in the frontend and also in the backend. And what is left is to populate this with products. So first let's go to the frontend, add on top script, and here we want to get a list of products. So to get the list of the products, we have to call backend. So we have to call here first on mount. So let's import it first. So import on mount from Svelte, And this onMount will accept an asynchronous function that we will send the request now. So we'll get a response which is equal to wait fetch HTTP localhost port 8000 /API /frontend /products /frontend. So this is the endpoint for the products in the frontend. Let's get the content, which is equal to wait response JSON. And this content is the products that we want. So products is equal to content here. And that's it. We got the products, and now we can loop them here. To loop the products, so I have to loop them here. So we need to add here each products as product, and here we need to close the loop. So we got the product. Now I will remove this SVG and I will convert it to an image. So inside the source we'll put the product.image here. Svelte also needs the alt, so this will be product image also. And we need a height. I will put it to 200. This is a product title. And I will remove this HTML, and here I will show the product price. So dollar first, then this is a product price. And that's it basically. Now if we go to the front end, we can see all the products are showing here. Let's do the same for the backend. Actually I will copy the code here and I will paste it here. The difference here is that the endpoint is backend here, and the content is not, so the response is not directly the products, so the products will be in the data property here, and it will be less products. So if we go to the backend, we'll see only 9 items because they are paginated in the backend. In the frontend, we'll paginate them later. So we got the backend products here, and now we will add a search to filter these products. So let's add here a search functionality. I'll paste this HTML. So this is just a search. So I'll paste it also to the front end. And let's first do it in the backend. What do we want to do once we search? First, I'll create here a function search, and this function will accept an S as a search value. And when we search here, we have to add the event on key up. We'll get the event and we'll call a search with the value inside, which is event.target.value. So this function will get the search, and what do we want to do? We have to call again the backend with the search with the value that we got. We can call it again here inside, but we have to call the same endpoint, or I'll create another function. I'll call it load, and this function will be this function here. So I'll paste it here, and when we mount, I will call the load function. So this is the same. Now when we set the search, we want to filter here the response. So I'll create another variable filters, and this value will have the default search to an empty string. And when we search here, I will set the filters that s is equal to s, and I will call the load function. So that's it for this search function. And now in the load, we need to add the filter search value after the question mark here. So since we will have more than one filter, I will create here an array, and I will add the question if filters that s is set. So if the search is set, then we have to push the array with this value, search is equal to filters that search. So we added the actual search that we want to add after the question mark, and after we add it, I will switch this to backticks, and here I will add question mark, array, join with the and sign. Now we have only one value, which is the search, and we don't have this and sign, but once we add more filters, this will do what we want. So we added a search. Let's try to search here now in the backend. So we can see that the items are changing. So the search is working fine. We are sending, every time we change the value here, we will send another request to the backend. So we added a search here. Now let's search in the front end. So I'll copy the filters, I'll paste them here. I'll copy also the search function, I'll paste it here. So we will set the filter here, and in the front end it will be different because we don't call again the front end. We get the products in the beginning. So we have to create two types of variables here. So I'll create them. I'll create all products and also filtered products. So what are these values? In the beginning we will set all the products and also the filtered products like this. So they are both the same, and when we loop them, we will loop the filtered products. And when we set the search, this means that the filters have changed. So I'll create another function here, filter changed, and what I want to do here is I will change the filtered products. First, before I make any change, I forgot also to add the onKeyApp event here. So we have to add the onKeyApp event, and when we search, we'll set the filter and call filters changed. And in this filters change, we'll create another variable products, which is equal to all the products then we want to filter them. So we'll get a product, and we want that the title or the description should contain this search value. So we will call p.title, so the title of the product, to lowercase, because we don't want to mess with the case sensitive part. So lowercase and uppercase should be the same. Index of filters that s also to lowercase should be greater or equal than 0. So this is the filtered products now. So we'll set it like this. So filtered products is equal to products. So let's see if this works. We are in the front end and we are filtering items. So notice that also this item doesn't care about uppercase and lowercase. So it is the same. That's why I changed them to lowercase. The condition works fine, so I'll copy this and add another condition, because we want to search also by the description. And that's it. So this is the search. So we can see now more items when we search the same word, because we are searching also the description. So this is how we search. Now let's add the other filter, which is the sorting. So I'll add a drop down. So let's go first to the backend, and here I'll paste this HTML, which is just a simple drop down, and I'll copy this function, and this is a sort function, and the value is sort. So we have to set the sort also here, default empty, and here we'll set the sort. And that's it for this function. When we change, so we will add here on change. We will call here event sort. Inside we'll put event.target.value. So we set the sort, we change the filter, and we call a load function. And here I'll copy this if condition, and let's do the same for the sort. And that's it. Now that we added this array join with the and sign, this will do the trick, and it will add also the search and also the sort. So let's try this. So we are searching and also we are sorting. So this works fine. We are sorting also descending. So we can see that the prices of the items change. So this is how both are working. Now let's sort also in the front end. So first I'll copy the HTML. I will add it here. We need also the function. I'll add it here, but this time we don't have a load function. And we need to add the sort value here. And when we set the sort here, so we can do it like this actually. So not sure if this will work. I'm sure it will work, because the name of the function is the same as the name of the variable. Let's see if it works. So filters changed here when we set the sort. And now here, after we filter the products, we want also to sort the products. So first I will make the condition if filters sort is equal to ascending. If it is ascending, then we will call here products.sort, and this function will accept two parameters, a and b. And what do we want to return here? Either -1 if a.price is lower than b.price, because these are products, 0 if they are equal, and 1 if b.price is greater than a.price. So what do we do with this? We can add multiple conditions for this, or I know a better way. I'll get the difference, which is equal to a.price minus b.price. And if the difference is 0, then we return 0. So I have to add the brackets here. So we took care of the 0 case. Now we need the -1 and 1 case. So for this we have to use math. So the sign is equal to math, not map, absolute value of the difference divided by the difference. So this difference is either positive or negative. If it is negative, the sign will be -1. If it is positive, the sign will be 1 here, because we are divided by the absolute with the same value. So with this, we can return the sign and it will work fine. So if we search, we can see that the products are sorted in ascending order, but we didn't take care of the descending order, so I'll add another condition here. Filters sort descending, and for the descending part, simply I'll make the condition here: if filters sort, is it ascending? Question mark, then I will return the sign. If it is descending, then I will return minus sign. And that's it. So this will sort them in the opposite direction. So with this, we can sort also descending. So 100, 196, etc. Also ascending. Also, we can also search. So we added the search, a sort. Now the last part is to add the button here to load more items. So let's go to the backend and we'll add the button here. I'll paste this HTML. So we have this load more button here. It will look like this. And we have to add another function here, load more, which doesn't have any parameters. So when we click here on click, we'll call the load more function like this. So what do we want to do once we load more items? So first, let's add the other filter, which is page by default is equal to 1. So in the beginning, page is equal to 1, and when we click load more, we'll call filters.page++, and we'll call the load function. So this looks fine, but we will have a problem. I will show you. First, let's add the page here, page, and that's it. So let's see the first problem. We are here, click load more, and the items are changing, but we are not adding them. So we want to see more items when we click the load more button. So to do that, we have to concatenate the previous products, so like this, with the current content data. So this means that all the previous values, we need to add the values that we got from the response. So this will solve this problem. As you can see, we're loading more items, but we have another one which is when we search, we are not filtering the items anymore, because all the time we are concatenating here. To fix that, once we search, we have to reset the page to 1, and also when we sort. So with this, here we will make the condition if filters page is it equal to 1, then if it is equal to 1, the products will be equal to content.data. Otherwise, we will concatenate the arrays. So this will solve our problem. Now, when we click load more items, we get more items. If we search, we can see that we are searching items and we are still at 9 items because we resetted the page. So we can load more. Here we are at the last page and the button is here. So we will remove the button later because we need to add the pagination for the front end. So let's add the pagination there. I'll copy the button and I'll paste it here. We need also the load more function. I will copy this. I will paste it here. And this is filters changed here. Also, we need to add here the page default 1. And to paginate here, I will create another variable called per page equals to 9. So we want to know how many items per page we want to paginate. And in the beginning, when we get the content, the filtered products will be, we will slice them from 0, which means from the beginning, till filters page times per page. So in the beginning, we'll get only 9 items. Now, if we go to the front end, we can see only 9 items and the load more button. And when we click the load more button, here in the filters changed, we'll get the products and we will slice them like this one. So I'll copy this part and I will slice them. With this, click load more, and as you can see, this works fine. Also, the search works fine, and we need to remove this button if we got to the last page. So first I forgot to change something. So here in the filters, that page is equal to 1. So we have to reset the values also when we search. So we click load more, and when we search, we can see that we are still seeing 9 items. So let's remove the button. Let's remove it first in the backend. We'll create a variable last page, which is equal to 0 by default. And the backend will return us the last page. So we have to set it here. So last page is equal to content last underscore page. So with this, we got the last page, and we need to wrap this with a condition. So if filters that page is less than the last page, then we have to close the if condition. So with this, if we go to the backend, click load more, and here we are at the last page and we are not showing more items. So that is working fine. The last page is removed. Let's do the same for the front end, and in the front end we have to calculate it ourselves. So I'll create here let last page equals to 0, and the last page will be equal to math ceal content dot length divided by per page. So this is the last page. Also, when we filter here, we will set also the last page here. Last page is equal to math ceal products dot length divided by per page. And the condition, I will copy this and I'll paste it here. The condition is the same. Now in the front end, if we load more items, we can see that the button is removed. So this is how we searched, sort and lazy load using Svelte Sapper. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you did, also make sure to share and subscribe. Thank you.